I just moved.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2020 Annual General Meeting of the Brampton Board of Trade. I call this meeting to order. Christy McGibbon, our VP of Operations here at the Brampton Board of Trade, who I can see waving to me through a glass window over there, will serve as our secretary for this meeting and will be verifying our voting process today. Hello, everyone. Christy, confirm we have quorum as duly constituted in the bylaws of the Brampton Board of Trade. I've been given the thumbs up, so ahead we go. On behalf of the Board of Directors, I'd like to thank you for attending today. Before we get too far in, I do want to take a moment to point out some of the highlights of the platform we're going to be using today. On the left side of your screen, you've hopefully already noticed and taken advantage of the network and expo areas of the platform. You'll see on the right-hand side of your screen, the chat is ready and available for questions. You'll also see at the top of that section the tab for polls. When we begin to discuss passing motions, you'll be able to cast your vote in that area. So please do make sure that you can find near the top section the tab for polls. Additionally, if you do have any questions or can't find that, you can reach out to Justina and Christy at any time using the chat feature. All looks good? Okay. Our annual general meeting today is about inspiration. If you came here today worried that you were going to hear about doom and gloom, which there is a lot of in the news today, I think you're going to be disappointed, but hopefully happily disappointed, if that's a thing. It has absolutely been a challenging year for everyone. And in the midst of those challenges, we've seen some really great stories emerge from our members and from our business community. Businesses have pivoted, they've taken on new roles, new partnerships, and have really innovated and risen to the occasion to help their fellow business community members through this pandemic. So many individuals have come forward to show leadership in our community, and I have to say that in spite of all things that have come with COVID-19, our city and our business community is better for it. Here's a couple of examples I can share. We saw Coca-Cola Bottling partner with Sheridan College to produce face shields. We saw Hopin Microtransit partner with Downtown Brampton BIA to provide free delivery of products. And we saw the partnership of local restaurants who came together to feed our community. In the midst of disruption and uncertainty, the Brampton business community has responded with absolute courage and optimism. This morning, we are here to celebrate 2020 and to look ahead to 2021. It has been my pleasure to serve this year as the chair of the board. And although we've had our ups and downs, we're going to end this year on a high note. Events like this come together with the support of our partners, and I would like to thank today's sponsors for their ongoing commitment. CN, who has continued to provide much needed resources for our whole country by keeping the supply chain open, is a proud partner of the Brampton Board of Trade, and we value their continued support. TD, who has provided resources and insight to business community during this time, is a longtime supporter of the Brampton Board of Trade, and they continue to be a valuable partner. Please also join me in thanking Rogers for their support for today's event and for the ongoing service they provide to Brampton's business community. We are also grateful for the support of Sheridan College and Deloitte for today's AGM, in addition to their ongoing support of the present and future of Brampton's businesses. As we move through this morning's agenda, you'll have the opportunity to hear from a number of different speakers and to learn more about the work of the Brampton Board of Trade and the work that we're doing on your behalf. First up, I'm pleased to welcome Mayor Brown to the virtual stage to bring greetings on behalf of the City of Brampton. All right, Mayor Brown, please bring us some greetings on behalf of the City of Brampton.
Okay, so we're live now. Okay, great.
We are.
Well, thank you to the Board of Trade, to Vanessa, to Todd. I know this has been a challenging year with COVID-19. It's not just a health pandemic, but it's an economic firestorm. And I can tell you every day, that's something that I struggle with, knowing the pain of our small businesses, and businesses of all sizes. And I should say, first of all, the Board of Trade has done a great job advocating for businesses. I know when we had the property tax deferral, the faster processing of city payments, those are things that the Board of Trade advocated for, and we're very much in line with trying to do everything we can to make this difficult year a little more bearable. And we have to realize that there are real damages right now being inflicted because of the pandemic. And for the Board of Trade members, I want you to know that, I'm pushing as much as possible for the provincial and federal governments to be as surgical as possible in their approach, not sweeping shutdowns, but shutdowns where it's actually merited, where there are data that support where there's data that supports transmission. I should also say a number of the Board of Trade members have risen to the occasion and really helped on the front lines of this pandemic, whether it's in medical technology, whether it's in the preparation of PPE. And frankly, I look at some of the Board of Trade companies and members in food processing, transportation, logistics. These are essential workplaces. Vanessa, you would know that all too well, that if you weren't functioning, Canada's supply chain would be in tatters. Food security, Brampton has really risen to the occasion when it comes to food security. And I just want to thank all of you for that. I think so many members of the Board of Trade are really playing significant roles in helping Canada weather this difficult year. And know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are really encouraging signs about the vaccine trials and expectations we're going to have a vaccine in the first quarter or second quarter of 2021. And so we will see a return to a new normal after, at some point in 2021. And so I think the Board of Trade is going to be relied on to play an integral role in the economic recovery of our city, and making sure that we can get businesses up and back. As the federal government says, build back better. Well, we're going to be relying on our Board of Trade leadership and members to help us work with the city to make sure that we have resilience in our business community and that we can grow. And I think there are a lot of positive signs on the horizon. I look at the Beehive incubator in the city. I look at the cybersecurity center. I look at the federal government grant for Riverwalk, which is going to unlock the downtown. That's really exciting. It's going to mean we can have real, meaningful economic development, an estimated 23,000 jobs in the downtown. And I know the Board of Trade is going to help us identify those opportunities where the right companies could fit in. I look at the pending expansion of MDA. The Caniff Group showed me that the plan's so exciting, and I know they're a proud Board of Trade member. But think about it. The Canada Space Arm. These aren't good jobs. These are rocket scientists. They're better than good jobs. They're great jobs. They're the top jobs, and that's happening in Brampton. I love the tweet that Todd put out where he called when they had the photo of the Canada Space Arm and from MDA, and he called it Brampton Bucks. Well, I love that. It shows the reach and the success of some of our Brampton companies. And I know some of the companies that have been hit hard. I know they have the capacity to come back through creativity. You look at the Mandarin. That's an institution in our city, and I know it's been really hard on them. But they're an institution, and they're gonna. And with the Chu family, who are incredible entrepreneurs, I know that they're going to get back on 2 feet and be even stronger after. We're all adapting to this pandemic. I'd be remiss not to acknowledge that City Councillor Martin Medeiros is on the call, I'm told. He is the chair of our working group to get the city back into operations. He's been working with our public health and civic officials to make sure that when we're allowed to reopen, that we do so in a safe manner. We're also joined by my trusted advisor, Gary Collins, who actually years ago worked for the Board of Trade and is an encyclopedia of Brampton knowledge. And I know from Gary and from others that this AGM is an important annual event. And I have to say, I'm impressed that you found ways to maintain the event through technology, even if the technology is a little shaky sometimes. But I have to say that commitment by the Board of Trade to keep events going, to keep your schedule going, is one of the reasons that I think Canada is weathering the storm, because we have a determination to maintain operations. We're doing that at City Hall too, whether it is, the building department has actually issued 25% more permits this year, because the virtual ability to get permits has actually been a little bit easier. So we're trying to function on all cylinders, even with the difficulty of the pandemic. And I've seen the Board of Trade do that. I have to say, for your awards gala, that was such a fun night. And the fact you put on a real show with music, entertainment, celebrating accomplishment, and all supporting local restaurants at the same time, I thought that was really clever. And so well done to the Board of Trade leadership, and really looking forward to seeing what you're going to do in the year ahead. So I'm looking forward to the swearing in of the Board of Directors. I'm looking forward to another great year of collaboration with the Board of Trade, our Economic Development Department, and making sure that we create an environment in Brampton's where we create jobs, we allow companies to hire, invest, and grow in our city. That's what it's all about. We want to make sure that we create the economic climate in which businesses can succeed, because when you're hiring, that's great for the city. When you're hiring, when you're growing, when you're investing, you're creating prosperity in our city. So thank you for everyone for your loyalty and your dedication to the city of Brampton. Have a great AGM.
Well, and thank you, Mayor Brown. As always, you are an optimistic and passionate advocate for our Brampton business community, and it's greatly, greatly appreciated by us here at the Board of Trade, and also on behalf of our members. We are looking forward to welcoming you to the podium again in February for our annual State of the City address. It seems we were talking earlier around the office here. It seems like a lifetime ago that you and I shared the stage, even though it was only in February. But, you know, at that point in time, you and I talked about momentum, and the momentum that was so important to keep this city moving forward and the business community moving forward here in Brampton, with really at that point in time no idea of the wall of the wall that was coming at us. And I have to say, I echo your sentiments in that I'm so proud of our members and of the staff here at the Board of Trade who saw that wall and just chose to climb over it. And I think we've actually, you know, even through the pandemic, been able to surpass some of the challenges that scared us at the beginning of this. So I think momentum didn't even, the momentum we were imagining back in February, I think we've far outdone ourselves, and I'm proud of everyone in this city's business community for all the hard work. So we'll see you again in a few minutes.
Okay.
Thank you. Our first order of business today is to approve the AGM minutes of November 21st, 2019. Speaking of our last AGM. As this is our first digital AGM, I'm going to explain how we're going to do things a little bit differently than normal today. As I present the motion, I will ask for a mover and a seconder to come forward in the stage chat. That's not to be confused with the event chat. Your stage chat can be found on the right-hand side of your screen while you are in the live stage icon. So I'm just going to give everyone a few minutes to see if they can locate that. Okay. For your convenience as a member, you can indicate moved or seconded as appropriate, and we'll record the first responses to each. Then, to vote on a motion, I'll ask you to click on the polls tab above and indicate your response to the motion. I'll leave about 20 seconds for you to cast your votes. Christy McGibbon will be our scribe and our scrutineer, and once voting is complete, I will look to the team here to ensure that the motion is passed. All right, if everyone's ready, let's give it a try. Could I please ask for a motion to approve the minutes from the 2019 Annual General Meeting as included in the email on November 12th, 2020? I have a motion. I need a seconder, please. Okay, I've got the thumbs up that we have a mover and a seconder. Thank you to both of you. I'm going to ask now for discussion, if there is any. Please indicate in the chat. Seeing none, in the poll section, please indicate your vote in favor of or opposed. We're good? Okay, our motion has passed. Thank you. That was our trial run. Now that we know what we're doing, this will get a lot easier as we continue to go through. We asked board members to share some of their 2020 highlights. So now I'm going to go to a video because let's hear what they had to say.
Hi, my name's Heather Strati, partner with Deloitte. And my favorite part for 2020 was really, how we all came together in the face of adversity and really made a difference in how we managed through such a terrible time that 2020 was. We made it much better than it could have been, and that was the team effort that we put together.
Hi, I'm Vanessa White from Maple Lodge Farms, and I'm also proud to be the 2020 chair of the Brampton Board of Trade. In a year that's had many ups and downs, one of my very favorite moments was watching a woman of color become the Vice President of the United States. Just awesome.
My name's Jeremy McBean from IT Weapons. My favorite part about 2020 was the spirit of community and connection that we saw flourish in Brampton this year. So many people looking for ways to support each other and support our businesses as we move through a challenging time together.
Hi, I'm Michelle McCollum from Sheridan. In 2020, my favourite moment was when we were able to safely welcome some of our students in practical programmes back to campus again after having a period of time when we didn't have any students on campus. So it was really exciting to be there and to be able to physically distance, welcome students back and to see their reaction and just to see how happy they were to be back at Sheridan again.
Hi, I'm Donna Pascal. I'm the VP of HR, Communications and PR for Dynacare. My most favorite memory of 2020 was realizing the capabilities of humans and organizations to respond to crisis and mobilize in the way we did at Dynacare when the pandemic hit.
2020 certainly has been a difficult year for many in our business community. If I have to take a look back and find a comforting memory, it would be how this business community came together to live the values of the Brampton Board of Trade. We're here to be the go-to organization, not only to help businesses succeed during good times, but during tough times as well. And seeing businesses come to the Board of Trade offering to source personal protective equipment, offering their expertise in helping companies with cash flow and scenario planning, and seeing restaurants providing food for those in need in our community. It's really wonderful how the business community comes together through the Board of Trade to support each other and to support our community. And that's probably my most favorite memory of 2020.
It is now my pleasure to invite CEO Todd Letts to the podium to present the CEO report.
Well, thank you very, very much, Vanessa. And before I begin, I just think it's important for our membership to know of the wonderful leadership that Vanessa White has shown in 2020 as chair of the Brampton Board of Trade. I know that others will speak to it later in the program, but Vanessa took on additional responsibilities in 2019 as vice chair, has led us through a global pandemic. And next year, she's going to continue on not only as our past chair, but our VP of Finance. And I tell you, having that continuity of leadership during some very disruptive times, we owe a debt of gratitude to Vanessa White for all of her efforts. Thank you very much, Vanessa. Ladies and gentlemen, perhaps novelist James Lane Allen was thinking of Brampton in 2020 when he penned the quote, "Adversity does not build character, it reveals it. And certainly our character as one of Canada's leading business communities has been tested this year. As I was flipping through the pages of today's annual highlights, and by the way, hats off to Justina Tepner for creating such a beautiful synopsis of our year in the issue.com. If you haven't seen it yet, I encourage you to check it out, something that will make you feel very proud of how we are all working together. As I read through it, I'm struck by the character and confidence demonstrated by members of the Brampton Board of Trade. So many of you participating in our AGM today have overcome significant challenges this year. And despite operating restrictions, despite disruptions to your families, despite uncertainties at work, you've demonstrated tremendous courage, agility, and persistence. In 2020, not unlike other years, together Brampton Board of Trade members continue to give each other confidence to take smart risks, to make bold decisions. And, I'm not surprised by that. I just think it's notable that we're here for one another in good times and in bad. Together, we find confidence to invest, like Shob Ahmed, for example, owner of Ride Scooty, who, despite economic uncertainty, chose to move forward in starting his new business. Thank you for that courage, Shob. Or like restaurateur Sabrina Coulter at Fanzarelli's, who adapted her business model to include curbside pickup, expanded her patio to serve patrons better, and made sure that the bureaucracy was moving not at their speed, but at her speed, the speed of business. And hats off to our municipal partners, Richard Forward and Claire Barnett, for helping to make that happen. As I flip through the pages of our annual highlights and reflect on the past year, my spirits are bolstered by your contributions to the Brampton Board of Trade. You didn't fall back into a shell, you didn't turtle, you went boldly forth, helping each other, empowering each other, and taking on new risks. The collaborations, the alliances, connectedness of our business community came through. Not only did you continue to renew your membership, continue to support advertising in our directory and e-news, and continue sponsorships that allow us to do so many important business development, economic development initiatives. In addition to that, you gave one another hope. Gave one another hope and confidence to carry on, to find a way through these challenges. And that resilience, that continued contribution of financial resources, sharing insights, volunteering time on committees, participating fully in newly established Board of Trade networks, those contributions have not gone unnoticed. That's why in 2020, when the Minister of Transportation needed business advice on transit for the Innovation Corridor, she taps our business community, the Brampton Board of Trade, on the shoulder. That's why in 2020, when Rocco Rossi, president of the Ontario Chamber of Commerce, searches for a business community that demonstrates a uniting force of diverse business people, community leaders, elected leaders, when he's looking for someone to host the 2021 AGM Policy Conference, he taps the Brampton Board of Trade on the shoulder that gets the call to host it. And that's why in 2020, when Hamad Boumim, chair of the World Chambers Federation, looks around the world for progressive business communities to help create the new business model for the chambers and boards of trade of the future, he calls upon you, the Brampton Board of Trade. But more importantly than the invitations, the recognition is the day-to-day support that you've provided one another. To volunteers of the Board of Trade, to small businesses, to corporations, our nonprofits that are also a big part of our organization, and the support and encouragement you show to our staff here at the Brampton Board of Trade. Thank you for that. Ladies and gentlemen, Vanessa will recap more of our achievements in her address. Joanne will give you the financial highlights. I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve our business community and to share with you some of the stories behind the story here of Brampton's courage, persistence, resilience, and collaborative spirit, and the leadership that makes it happen. Ladies and gentlemen, as I close my remarks, I feel very fortunate to work with such a resilient, agile, and talented business community. I feel fortunate to work in a community with such passionate and dedicated elected leaders like Mayor Brown and Council, Minister Sakaria, and all of our MPPs on both sides of the House, and to our federal local leaders as well. Together, these folks have put the politics aside and come together and aligned and worked together to help get us through these challenging times. Thank you for that. And when I think of the words resilient, agile, and talented, it's those same words that I use to describe my gratitude for your Board of Trade staff. The amazing work done by your VP, Christy McGibbon, by Nyan Thacker, and Lorraine Denardis Asenza during the first 5 weeks of the pandemic. Not only their dedication and intuition and insight and creativity, but that together with Geraldine McGuinness, our contractor with Shake It Up events, our videography support through Redwood Studios and Natalie Clark Singh. Throughout those first 5 weeks and following the 8 months since, their work has just been outstanding on your behalf, and you have been the wind beneath our wings. Please help me express our collective gratitude to these fine folks and to Justina, our newest addition, who's put this whole program together and does wonderful communications for us. Thank you as we come to the end of 2020, and as we go forth, go boldly forth into 2021. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. I'm so inspired by the stories of our members who have just boldly adapted and charged forward this year. And I truly want to thank you, Todd, and the staff here for supporting our members in 2020. And thank you in advance for the support that I know you will all give them as they reinvent themselves and emerge stronger in 2021. As we did earlier, I need to now ask for a mover to receive the CEO's report. So if we could have someone move and second in the chat, that would be great. I think we have a mover, we just need a seconder. Okay, we have a mover and a seconder. Thank you. I'll now call for discussion. Any discussion? Please bring it forward in the chat. Seeing none, I'll now ask you to click on the polls tab and indicate your response to the motion. Again, I'll leave about 20 seconds for you to cast your vote, and then I'll look to the team here to ensure that the motion has passed. This is a normal delay, I'm told. Okay, thank you. We've received notice that the motion has passed. Thanks to all. Next up on the agenda is the chair's report, which is traditionally an overview of the year, the success that we've had, and some insights, a few memories, and an overview of the impact that the Brampton Board of Trade has made on the business community. 2020 has certainly been a different year from any other. Some highlights that I think we should consider in spite of all the things that happened this year. We had record attendance at our State of the City address back in February, over 430 people in attendance. It was certainly a highlight of my time as chair of the Brampton Board of Trade, and certainly back in naive days with really not much knowledge of what was to come. Another event that really stood out for me was our Inspire Her event, where we also gave out the first Naseem Samani Leadership Excellence Award to our member, Linda Ford. Just a real, it was just an amazing and inspiring evening that brought our members together and really celebrated women's contributions to our Brampton business community. I think that was our last in-person event. There were about 250 attendees there that night, and it was about a week before the shutdown. So someone again here this morning reminded me it was probably the last time I also gave someone not in my family a hug. Perhaps that's one of the other reasons why it stands out for me. But you know, both those events really showed how strong our business community is here in Brampton, how engaged our business community is, and the strength of our business leadership was celebrated at both those events. Then along came COVID-19 and the pandemic. The team here pivoted immediately. They adapted, they reached out to members to provide support, and really listened to the feedback they got from members to decide how to move forward and support them in the best way possible. Through this time, we've given almost 40 expert series webinars, all that can be found on the website. These are, they weren't just relevant at the time that we were presenting them, they continue to be relevant to the business community today. So please, if you haven't checked those out, please go and do so. Every topic you could imagine that you've probably wondered about as a business leader or a business contributor in this city, you could probably find the topic there and get some really great expert advice. So again, kudos to the team here for reacting really quickly to make sure that our business community was hearing directly from the experts that they needed to hear from on the topics that were critical to them at the beginning of the pandemic and throughout. They put a new resource page on the website. As many of you might recall, at the beginning, particularly of the pandemic, and then as time has unfolded, the amount of messaging that's coming out, the amount of information for business leaders to try and sift through and understand in order to make their business successful has been tremendous. And so we put together a resource page on the website. You'll find that under the COVID-19 reopening resources. That was the place for our members to go to sift through the information they needed, find the things that were relevant and critical to them, and use that information to enable them to not just survive, but get ready to thrive as businesses here in Brampton. We formed 9 new networks. I've had the pleasure of sitting in on many of those network meetings, covering everything from trade to transportation and logistics to talent, and many in between. So again, a really unique and different and interesting way for many more of our members to get connected to our conversations and to have a voice into the advocacy that we've been doing throughout the pandemic on your behalf. And then as Mayor Brown mentioned, we had what we consider to be, and I think others would agree, a really successful Business Excellence Awards ceremony, unlike anything we had ever done before. And with a great support team behind us, we felt that we were truly able to celebrate the success of many of our members and Brampton businesses from the past year. We had a ton of fun doing that event, putting it together. I even got to wear my pajamas to work. So that's always a great day. And we truly appreciate those of our members who participated, not just in putting that together, but in the networking to make it an event that was as like an in-person event as you could ever imagine. Thank you to our partner restaurants who Todd mentioned earlier, who delivered amazing meals to people who attended, and it was just overall it was a great event. And again, if I think back 7 or 8 months ago, an event unlike anything we ever would have expected. So I think I'll leave my report there. All that to say, I am so proud of the team here. I'm proud of my fellow board members who have just stepped up to the plate daily to make sure that I've had the support that I've needed as a chair, and that the team here has had the support that they've needed to just continue delivering amazing service to our members. So again, thanks to everyone. So now I would like to call for a motion to receive the chair's report. As we did earlier, I will ask for someone to move and second in the chat. Again, if we could have someone move and second the acceptance of the chair's report. Okay, thank you very much. Any discussion on the chair's report? Seeing none, I'll now ask you to click on the polls tab and indicate your response to the motion. We'll leave about 20 seconds for you to cast your vote. Okay, it looks like the motion has passed. Thank you to everyone. I'm now going to turn the screen over to Joanne Rapocchio to deliver our financial report. Please note the financial statement is available on request from the Brampton Board of Trade.
Thank you, Vanessa. Good morning. My name is Joanne Bedard-Rapocchio, and I'm a director with the Board of Trade and Executive Vice Chair for the Finance Committee. I'll be presenting the financial report for the fiscal period year ending June 30th, 2020. Let's start with a brief financial summary of the year in review. Plans and operations for the financial year 2019-2020 were abruptly disrupted by the declaration of pandemic in March 2020, just as the Board of Trade was heading into the busiest quarter of the year. Immediately at the announcement of the pandemic, an impact assessment was carried out, which initially indicated a deficit of approximately $94,000, which would have significantly eroded the prior year balance of net assets of $114,000. In response, a number of financial and operational measures were identified to contain the deficit, and the initial estimate was reforecast downward by 50% to a deficit of approximately $48,000. The board further benefited from the federal government wage subsidy assistance that were announced, as well as a favorable rent reduction negotiation with the landlord. The final result was a deficit of $28,720 for the financial year 2019-2020. In reviewing some details, we'll start with the statement of financial position, the balance sheet. In the category of current assets, the year-over-year cash position has gone up from $280,000 to $395,000. The increase of $115,000 is attributed to a corresponding increase in deferred sponsorship. Receivables and payables were tightly managed and are comparable year over year. In the category of liabilities, current liabilities, there's a strong deferred revenue going into fiscal year 2020-2021, total of $406,000 as compared to $269,000 a year ago. The deferred revenue is comprised of $212,000 in membership dues and $194,000 in event sponsorship. Overall, net assets are reasonably well protected given the disruption caused to operations by the pandemic. Let's move on to operations results, the income statement. In the category of revenues, membership dues revenue is up 12% year over year, an increase of $38,000. Services and affinity programs revenue was down 13%, a decrease of $11,000. Directory publications revenues are down by $39,000, a decrease of $17,000. And events revenue was disrupted, is down 39%, a decrease of $137,000. In the category of general expenses were tightly managed and are down 7% year over year, a benefit of $44,000. Overall, the Board of Trade closed the year with a deficit of $28,720. The fund balance at the opening of the year was $114,000 and closed at fiscal year end at $85,000. Moving on to the statement of cash flows. As mentioned previously, there was a net increase in cash of $115,000 for the year. The increase is attributed to a corresponding increase in deferred sponsorship revenue from events postponed due to COVID. Cash at the beginning of the annual fiscal period was $280,000 and closed at $395,000. Some additional notes and comments. The revenue decline of $125,000 was largely due to decline in the events revenue category. Some events are in the comparatives that did not take place in fiscal 2020, for instance, the top 40 under 40. And note that expenses are offset by federal wage subsidies of $30,639. Also, the CEBA was successfully applied for and available for $40,000, $10,000 of which is forgivable if repaid by December 2020. And there was an additional unused line of credit for $30,000 at year end. In summary, the Brampton Board of Trade is trending well despite the unprecedented challenges imposed by the pandemic. Assets continue to grow year over year, expenses are well managed, membership revenue is stable, even having realized a small increase of $38,000. The Brampton Board of Trade quickly pivoted its delivery platform early in the pandemic and provided its membership and business community at large access to comprehensive COVID-19 and reopening resources via its website. Brampton Board of Trade also launched strong virtual programming via the Expert Series, whereby 40 webinars were delivered on a wide range of topics. 9 networks were formed and a successful virtual delivery of the Business Excellence Awards were celebrated in October. Brampton Board of Trade continues its strong commitment and long-standing history to foster connections that encourage continued economic development, prosperity, advocacy, and government relations. So that closes the financial report. And thank you. At this point, we'll return to the central plenary to receive motions and coordinate the live voting. Thank you, and back to you, Vanessa and Todd.
Thank you so much, Joanne, and thank you not only for serving as a member of our board, but also for your leadership and guidance to the Finance Committee through what we've all heard has been a very challenging year. We're now going to do a series of motions concerning the financial report. I would now like to ask for a mover to receive the financial report. As we did earlier, I would ask for someone to move and second in the chat. We've received a mover and seconder. Discussion of the financial report, if any? Seeing none. And now I'll ask you to click on the polls tab again and indicate your response to the motion. Once again, we'll leave about 20 seconds for you to cast your vote, and then we'll look to the team here to ensure that the motion has passed. And that motion has passed. Thank you. I would now like to ask for a mover to receive the Brampton Board of Trade financial statements. As we did earlier, I'll ask for someone to move and second in the chat. We have received a motion and a seconder. Any discussion on receiving the Board of Trade financial statements? Seeing none, I'll ask you once again to click on the polls tab and indicate your response to the motion. We're getting the hang of this. And that motion has also been passed. I would now ask for a motion to appoint our auditors, McGilvery, Chartered Accountants and Business Advisors, for the Brampton Board of Trade 2020-2021 fiscal year. Again, I'll ask for someone to use the chat to move and second this motion. Received? Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask you to once again click on the polls tab and respond to the motion. Motion passed. It is now my absolute pleasure to invite Michelle McCollum, Chair of the 2020 Nominating Committee, to the podium.
Thank you, Vanessa. Well, all tangled up here. In compliance with our bylaws, the board struck a nominating committee to complete a slate of directors for 2021. I'd now like to present the nominating committee report. The nominating committee met 3 times, assessing the strengths and gaps of our governing body. I want to thank Manny Mann, Heather Stratty, and Tina Chu for their amazing leadership this past year. Each will be leaving our board of directors after many years of service, but we're not letting you go that easily. You still have to keep engaged. In accordance with our bylaws, a nominating committee report recommending a slate was sent to our membership on October the 2nd. There were no other independent nominations received. The following individuals, as outlined in the nominating report, are to be acclaimed subject to member ratification. I'm happy to welcome to the Board of Directors Scott Thompson, VP Technical Services, Rogers Communications, Daniel Lewis, founder Tea by Daniel, Kate Sulhana, Associate Price Dash and Crouch. Renewing their terms are Lou Lucas, Associate Lawrence's, Joanne Rapocchio, VP Operations at BMP Metals. Continuing their terms are our amazing Vanessa White, moving to the past chair position and also VP Finance, Kanvar Danjal, Jeremy McBean, Donna Fagan-Pascal moving to chair-elect position, Shauna K. Jones, Shauna McMillan, and Steve Stevens. If you take a look at the programme agenda, which is linked in the chat right now, as well as sent out last week, you can see the bios of the fabulous team that we have here to represent the Brampton business community. Now, we've had lots of practice at this. I'd now like to ask for a motion and seconder to receive the nominating committee report. As we did earlier, if you could indicate that in the chat. And I'll wait for the thumbs up from Christy. Okay, discussion, if any? Seeing none? Okay. So then we'll ask, I'm new at this, Vanessa was very smooth. The polls tab, click on the polls tab to indicate your response to the motion. I'll just leave a few seconds and wait to see Christy's thumbs up. We've had lots of practice at this now. Okay, motion passed. I would ask that we all welcome all of the members of the 2021 Brampton Board of Trade Board of Directors. Congratulations. And I think they're all in a special Zoom room. So if they're all at the screen now, that's wonderful. And then I'm going to invite Amir Brown back to the screen as we deliver the oath of office. Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Okay, I think we're ready to go, Mayor Brown.
Okay, do we have the oath of office?
Yep, we're ready for that now.
Okay, I don't have a copy of the oath of office. Is there?
Okay. I think we can help you with that.
Okay.
Well, perhaps Mayor Brown, I maybe read it out on Mayor Brown's behalf. Would that be okay, Mayor Brown?
Sure.
Okay. So
We do it together.
Okay, let's do it together. I'll ask that directors repeat after Mayor Brown and I. I swear that I will faithfully and truly perform my duty as a director of the Board of Trade.
I swear that I will faithfully and truly perform my duty as a director of the Board of Trade.
And that I will, in all matters connected with the discharge of that duty.
And that I will.
And that I will.
In all matters connected with the discharge of that duty.
Do all things and only such things as I truly and conscientiously believe.
Do all things and only such things as I truly and
and conscientious. To be adapted to promote the objects for which the board was constituted.
To be adapted to promote the objectives for which the board was constituted.
According to the true intent and meaning of the same.
According to the true intent and meaning of the same.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Mayor Brian, welcome. I invite you to congratulate our new board of directors.
I want to say congratulations to the new board of directors, Michelle, on this new responsibility, and Vanessa for your past service. This is a huge responsibility, and Theodore is excited too, because he knows you're all going to do great work for the Board of Trade in the city of Brampton. And congratulations on behalf of the city.
Thank you, Mayor
Thank
Brown.
you very much.
I think inadvertently, Theodore has become an honorary member of our board of directors through his reciting of, help reciting the oath. So we'll look forward to seeing him at the first meeting in 2021. And Theodore, you can bring the coffee. Okay, well, with that team at the helm, I know we are in for an exciting 2021. I would ask now that we move to ratify the decisions of the 2020 Board of Directors. Be it resolved that all bylaws, resolutions, contracts, acts, proceedings of the Board of Directors, members and officers of the corporation enacted, passed, made, done, or taken since November 19th, 2019 are the same are set forth or referred to in members of the corporation on this date are hereby approved, ratified, sanctioned, and confirmed. I would now like to ask for a motion and a second to accept this resolution. Again, please do that in the chat. We've received that. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll go to the polls tab again, and please indicate your response to the motion. All right, motion passed. Well, the time has come now for me to officially pass on the gavel, which I'm going to appropriately wipe down and make sure it's good and sanitized before we pass it to incoming Chair Michelle McCollum. Michelle has always been a strong contributor and someone who, during my entire time here at the Board of Trade to date, I have looked for her insight on issues. She has an impressive understanding of our city and our business community, and she brings an enthusiasm and energy and a positivity to our board that is, I would say, unrivaled. Michelle will be a passionate advocate for our members and is going to be a great leader for our board. So I will now pass this over and give it to, go to Michelle to say welcome. There you go.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. I now have a very important job to do. Vanessa, I'd like to take a moment to recognise and thank you for your stellar leadership as Chair of Brampton Board of Trade. I'm delighted to present you with a gift on behalf of our Board of Directors as a small token of our appreciation of your commitment to the Brampton business community. The gift is over there, socially distancing, so you can pick that up at your leisure. And oh, here she comes.
Thank you.
Okay. And what a year to have been in the position of chair. A year which has seen an impact to society beyond anything any of us could ever have imagined. Yet, Vanessa, you've been strong, resilient, and steadfast as you continue to lead and support the business community. And all while dealing with unprecedented change and complexities in your day job at Maple Lodge, where your leadership ensured that essential food supplies continued to flow to the Brampton community. Vanessa, your capacity and ability to lead in the face of extremely challenging circumstances has been well recognised. I've watched, admired, and learned so much from you over the last year. Thank you so much. I I'm honoured to accept the role of Chair of Brampton Board of Trade for 2021. I come into this role following tremendous leadership from a long line of strong and committed, exceptional chairs like Vanessa, Manny, Heather, and many others before them. I'm also excited to have the opportunity to work closely with our next chair-elect, Donna Fagan-Pascal. Congratulations, Donna. You're going to be a wonderful chair in 2022. I'd like to recognise the tremendous leadership of our CEO, Todd Letts, and of all of the team behind the scenes at the Board of Trade. The rapid shift to support our business community has quite simply been outstanding. I'd like to thank my employer, Sheridan, and my amazing colleagues, some of whom are able to tune in today, for their ongoing support. And just so you know, I'm probably going to need more over the next year. And that's also a demonstration of their commitment to the Brampton business community. Many of us will be breathing a sigh of relief that the end of 2020 is in sight. I heard someone say recently that 2020 has been a very unusual leap year. I'd completely forgotten that this was even a leap year. It seems so long ago. 29 days in February, I think, about 300 days in March, and maybe 3 years in April. I think many of us can relate to that. But what about the future? What's in store for 2021? Well, I think we all wish we had a crystal ball, but from a pandemic perspective, hope does appear to be in sight, especially with recent announcements about vaccine research. And an incredible announcement yesterday that Vanessa, Todd and Mayor Brown referred to from the federal government on the Riverwalk project. So exciting, so important for Brampton. Thank you. It's difficult to think about 2021 without reflecting on 2020, the major events, of which there were many, and what we have learned, which is a lot. As a company executive from the UK retailer John Lewis said recently, in the last 5 months, we have achieved 5 years of change. It's traditional for an incoming chair to select a theme or vision for their year ahead. After much thought and deliberation, I've chosen 3 important words for 2021: curiosity, courage, and connection. Curiosity, the desire to learn. Curiosity leads us to question assumptions. Curiosity allows us to think more deeply and rationally about the decisions we make. It keeps our brains active and keeps us engaged. Curiosity is essential for great leadership. It inspires those around us and encourages honesty and trust. Curiosity sparks creativity and innovation to be entrepreneurial and respond to the needs of our customers in the best way possible. There has never been a better time to be curious. Courage, mental or moral strength to venture, persevere, withstand danger, fear, or difficulty. Courage allows us to put aside our fear of failure. When we fail, we learn and we become more resilient. Courage will lead us to having much needed difficult conversations about systemic racism, injustice, inequities in health and wellness in our racialized communities, about the mental health supports that we need to have in place, and about our climate emergency. Courage will allow us to make difficult business decisions, to prioritize and to adapt. Courage will ensure that we advocate for the investment and the outcomes we need in Brampton. There has never been a better time to be courageous. Connection, the state of being connected. Connection will keep us engaged and keep us strong. Connection will stop us withdrawing and losing touch. It will allow us to support each other through difficult times. Connection will keep us in sync with our clients, customers, and community stakeholders and their emerging needs. Connection will promote an ecosystem of success, of possibility and hope. Connection can be simple, but powerful. There has never been a better time to be connected. I encourage you throughout 2021 to be curious, to be courageous, and to stay connected. And there are lots of opportunities to do that through this amazing network that is the Brampton Board of Trade. I'm excited and hopeful for 2021 and what it might bring. I'm excited to work with you, learn from you, and have a great year together. And I'm not the only one. We asked our board of directors to talk about what they're excited about for 2021. And here's what they said.
Hi, I'm Vanessa White from Maple Lodge Farms and also the 2020 chair of the Brampton Board of Trade. What I'm most excited for next year is watching our members use our resources to help them recover and thrive in 2021.
Hello, hi, I'm Manpreet Mann from Seacliff Capital and Private Equity. What I'm looking forward to in 2021 is for the pandemic to be over, for us to get back to normal, a vaccine to be found so that our businesses can get back on track, recover, and grow.
Good morning, Louis Valukas, Lawrence Stevenson, LLP. I think the thing I look forward to the most in 2021 is really the reopening and getting together in a social setting with not only our business partners, associates, and colleagues, but also our friends and families, and just making a toast and having a drink or two.
What do I look forward to in 2021? Well, for the first half, a lot of the same. Why not be outdoors in the winter along Brampton's trails, or maybe make my way back up to Northern Ontario and enjoy some of the winter splendors up there. Second half, definitely look forward to a bit of a return to normalcy, being able to extend a hand for a handshake to a colleague, not having to step back and maintain a distant gap. So just a quick little message. Be well, enjoy the rest of 2020. Look forward to seeing everybody in 2021.
Hi, I'm Scott Thompson from Rogers. What I'm looking forward to most in 2021 is helping our business community and my customers achieve their goals.
Hello, my name is Kate Saldana. I'm a lawyer with Pro Stash & Crouch here in the heart of downtown Brampton. I'm looking forward to joining the board of directors for the Brampton Board of Trade in this upcoming year. In 2021, I'm looking forward to contributing to the sense of community that has emerged over the course of this pandemic. We've experienced a number of challenges, but also shown great resiliency over the last several months. I'm looking forward to continuing to build that sense of community that comes from all these challenges we've gone through together and continue to grow for a better Brampton.
Hi, I'm Michelle McCollum from Sheridan. I'm most excited in 2021 to take on the role of Chair of Brampton Board of Trade. It's a tremendous honour. I'm really excited to have the opportunity to advocate more and learn more about our amazing businesses in Brampton. And I'm also really excited to be able to engage more with our wonderful business leaders. So very excited about that.
Okay, so much to look forward to 2021. I want to take just a moment to welcome our new board members. We are excited about the perspective and energy that each of you will bring. And a thank you so much to our board members who are stepping off the board, but as Michelle indicated, we won't let you go very far, and we will look forward to seeing you and hearing from you regularly. And Michelle, thank you for your wonderful speech. I'm excited and feeling inspired already. So please know you will have my full support, the full support of the board, and we are excited about where you're going to lead us. So as we wrap up this morning, are there any questions in the chat that we need to address? I'll look to Christy. Seeing none, then I'll move into my concluding remarks. I think we can agree that 2020 has brought us closer together while being further apart. It has taught us new skills and has changed our perspectives. I look forward to seeing you all again at one of our other great events. Please mark some dates on your calendars. We have our holiday mixer coming up December 8th, where we will have virtual fun and festivities. This is an excuse for you to break out your most festive attire. 2021 State of the City will be held on February 9th, where we'll have our annual address from Mayor Brown and also from Michelle. And May 6, 2021 will be our Business Excellence Awards. Nominations are open now, so please, if you have or know of an amazing Brampton business, please get in touch through the website, get your nominations in. The fun of that event comes from the strength of the nominations, and the more we have, the better time we have putting it together. And it's a great way to recognize and acknowledge some of the amazing businesses and the amazing things that they're doing right here in our city. Please keep up to date on social media by checking out bramptonbot.com. And we're just about to wrap up here, but you are welcome to stay and visit the expo and check out the networking opportunities on the left of your screen. So I would now like to ask for someone to move and second to adjourn the meeting. In the chat. I've got a motion and a seconder. Discussion? Seeing none, then I now ask you to click on the polls tab one last time and indicate your response to the motion. With that, we are adjourned. My final smack of the gavel. Thank you again, everyone. Have a great day.